morning, Dan. How are you?
Good morning, Marianne. I'm doing okay. I almost didn't realize I had a shift today.
Oh, jeez. But here you are. No one
You're
needs to
just
know
trying to avoid me, Dan?
I was. Now that I know Angela's here, I might have to just sign off.
that.
It doesn't seem like there's much to this shift, though.
No, I know. I saw the docket. Their last one's at 9:40. I said to the judge, something's up here. This isn't right.
Yeah, I don't get it. Some days we have, 150 and other days a lot less, but oh
Yep.
well. Okay, well, good morning, everyone. I'll be in my little hole waiting.
Okay. See
All
ya.
right.
Morning.
Good morning, Crystal. How are you today?
How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Hey, Josh, I just saw your email. I'm reading it right now. Okay, guys, I'm excited. Hi, Mary Ann.
Good morning, Miss Medina. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Judge. I am in the wrong courtroom. I thought I was House Counsel here. Then I popped in with Daniel. I'm having him cover the couple things I have here, and I'm heading to Judge Green in the virtual world. But I just wanted to let Mary Ann know that Daniel is going to be covering my 2 cases that I have here.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Yep, he's going to be covering Coram and Miller.
Then Miss Medina, sorry for the crosstalk, Your Honor. I'm gonna snag this opportunity. I sent you and Sammer an email. I'm with Judge Martin today. I have
I just
one
saw
with
that.
Judge Green. All right, excellent.
I just saw that. Thank you, Josh. I'll take care of it. Bye, everybody. Zoom, zoom. Zoom,
Bye, Miss
zoom.
Chris.
Medina.
Bye. Have a great day.
You too,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Your Honor. Appreciate you letting us clear that up. It makes it faster, so we're not doing the in and out.
If there's nobody out here waiting to be seen, I don't mind the talk. Were you expecting Mr. Pinot to come out? I love that you're muted.
Sorry about that. No, he's a little bit early. We're scheduled for 8:50. He's just gonna sit tight, grab a cup of coffee.
Oh, I was gonna say we're ready. No, we're not ready because it's, yeah. Good morning and welcome to courtroom number 1.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you. It was nice meeting you the other day.
I don't know if you've met the others. There's the prosecutor here for Van Buren Township. She's covering for Romulus this morning.
Thank you, Judge. Hi, Jake. How you doing?
Hi, Angela. Nice to meet you.
You too.
I like your background there.
Oh, my backyard.
Yeah, yeah. I have a nice open and sunny area.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jake, I'm actually advocating that we go back to the closet with the painter's tape around it, but that's a
Judge,
personal
that was
choice.
3 years ago. I worked in my office yesterday morning when I did my docket, but then I came outside in the afternoon. So I had the corner in the closet and the backyard.
Well, you're just doing Dave's today, right? You said, Angela?
Yeah, yep, yeah, I'm just covering for him. Nothing Van Buren, don't worry. I know, it's confusing.
So just that, so everyone knows, all of the attorneys are made co-hosts, so please feel free to move yourselves around if you need to. And as your other parties come in, feel free to move them around as well.
Your Honor, I just met with Mr. Anthony Crump and he is gonna waive MIDC.
Thank you, sir.
And then it looks like Christina Davis is checking in. She's the co-defendant on Mr. Matthew Pinot.
I recognize the names. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Crump, have you spoken to the prosecutor this morning?
No, I have not, Your Honor.
We'll get you
morning.
moved into the breakout room with Ms. Manarino. Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
morning, Mr. Bitar.
Morning, Judge.
This is 240305 OD. This is City of Romulus versus Anthony Warlicks. Have your appearances, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Daniel Bitar on behalf of Mr. Warlicks. Mr. Warlicks, can you state your name for the record, please?
Hi, I'm Anthony Warlicks.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bitar, how are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, as to the arraignment, we'll waive a formal reading and stand mute, please. And we're asking for a pretrial so I can get discovery.
The recommendation from Romulus Police is that Mr. Warlick's bond be set at 10,000, 10%.
Judge,
Your
I'm asking.
comment as to bond, Mr. Bitar.
Thank you, Judge. He's 30 years old, no prior criminal convictions. He's employed full-time at Republic Services as a deep well operator. Don't believe he's any type of flight risk. We're asking the court to consider a personal bond.
Thank you, Mr. Bitar. Mr. Warlick, your bond will be set at 5,000 personal. You do not need to post any money, but what you must do is continue to appear as directed by this court until this matter is resolved in its entirety. Because of the allegations contained in the complaint, that being that your blood alcohol content when you operate the vehicle was 0.17 or more, condition of your bond is that you not purchase, possess, consume any alcoholic beverages during the pendency of this matter. Mr. Bitar, the court will note that you've requested discovery and the adjourned pretrial date will be
June 6th at 9 o'clock.
That date works.
and that will be by Zoom back with me in courtroom number 1. And sir, notice of that new date and time will be mailed to you at the address you verified with court staff this morning. Is there anything else, Mr. Bitar?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Sir, you're free to go. You have a great day. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Mr. Warlicks, I'll talk to you in the future, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
These are 23RP0616OM and 230958OM. These are both City of Romulus versus Anthony Crump. Would you state your names for the record, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Angela Manarino on behalf of the City of Romulus.
Good morning, Anthony Crump.
Mr. Crump, the way court staff have you labeled indicates that you're waiving your right to have the assistance of the court-appointed attorney this morning. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You wish to proceed on your own?
Yes, I do.
And you've had the opportunity to speak to the prosecutor, Ms. Manarino.
Yes, I have.
Ms. Manarino, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, I spoke with Mr. Crump. He's indicated that he wants to have this matter tried by a jury and that he intends to represent himself.
Well, Mr. Crump, before we go any further with that request, would you explain to the court why you failed to appear at your previous court date on April the 18th?
Your Honor, I do apologize for that. I was unaware. When I called the court, they spoke to me and they told me that the prior prosecutor handed me a notice on 4/4, which I was in a Zoom meeting, so I couldn't have been handed anything. Not to mention, I've been to court 6 times now over this, and everything was together before, and now it seems to have separated since I have let my attorney go. I don't see the point in spending any more money on this, but I mean, there's absolutely no evidence. I would hope that you could see this case and look at it and understand that it's a big waste of time. There's absolutely nothing here. The guy who is accusing me of this is on probation for harassing me and continues to harass me.
Mr. Crump,
Yes,
I'm interrupting you because these proceedings are recorded and they are televised. I'd encourage you not to say anything that could negatively impact your case. That's number 1. Number 2, there's nothing for the court to look at to make a decision today because all we have so far are the allegations that something occurred on a certain date in a certain community. As far as you not appearing, when you were here on April the 4th,
yes.
Mr. Jadala was the court-appointed attorney, and I gave the new date to you while you were in the courtroom that indicated that you were not in the courtroom, but in the Zoom, indicating that you were to return on April the 18th at 9:10 a.m. I personally gave that to you by Zoom, and I know that I did because I wrote the note in the file. So I'm not sure why you didn't appear, and that means that this court has a concern about how we manage this case going forward because you're representing yourself, which means you will be required to, you'll be held to the same standard that an attorney representing you would be. That, next.
Yes, I understand that. I'm
Sir.
sorry, I received it by mail, Your Honor. And I assume that the one that I got by mail was the only case since I've been dealing with this, as one case.
No, they're two separate cases. And what I was starting to say is that the case that ends in 6167 OM is in warrant status based on your failure to appear. These events, the files show offense dates that are actually 3 days apart. So for the case from November 25th of 23, the 6167, the court will recall the warrant.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have you received the discovery, reviewed the discovery, Mr. Crump, that was previously requested in this matter?
I've had, there's no discovery, Your Honor. There's nothing to be discovered. There's no evidence. I've already got the discovery from my lawyer. There's no evidence here, Your Honor, except for this one guy's, what he has to say, the word of the person that is on probation for harassing me.
Mr. Crump, before we set a jury trial, the court will set the case for a final pretrial with the complainant to appear, and that date will be
June 6th at 9 o'clock.
June 6th at 9 a.m. back here on Zoom in courtroom number 1. And Mr. Crump, at that time, the complainant will appear. You'll have a conversation with the prosecutor, and if there is no resolution of this case, the court will then coordinate a jury trial date between yourself and the prosecutor. Please understand that if you elect to represent yourself in a jury trial, you will be held to the same standard as an attorney. You will be required to file witness exhibit lists and propose jury instructions. I'll see you on June 6th at 9 a.m. by Zoom. Is there anything else, Ms. Manorino?
Your Honor, was there a final pretrial held previously in this matter?
No, ma'am. I see pretrial, failure to appear, pretrial, failure to appear.
Okay, because it looks like, I was just looking at the ROA for the case ending in 6167 that indicates that when they were in front of, I believe, Judge Oakley, there was a final pretrial set for March 7th, but I wasn't sure if that actually was treated as the final pretrial or not.
It does not appear that it was because Mr. Zelenak withdrew from the case. And it was reset as arraignment pretrial, which it should have just been a pretrial for April the 4th. And on the April 4th date is when Mr. Jadala was present.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you, Judge.
Understood. I appreciate that. Mr. Crump, anything else?
Your Honor, so this June 6th, this is for both cases or just the one?
Both.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Honor.
I'll see you on June 6th, sir. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
set another jury trial on the holiday weekend, so Carol can choke me. Oh, July 1st, I'll do it on that day. I'll do it on July 1st. I can't make up a new password. I don't have it in me. This is 24 RP 017080M, City of Romulus versus Gary Tucker. Would you state your names for the record, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Josh Hadley, appearing on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Jerry Tucker. Mr. Tucker, please take yourself off of mute so the court can hear you. If you can, please turn your camera back on. He's here at the courthouse, Your Honor.
Is he in the Zoom room?
He is downstairs. He was just having
We
some
might
tech-
need to get someone in there to assist him if he's.
Help is on the way, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, Gwen.
You're welcome.
Mr. Tucker, state your name for me, please, sir.
Jerry Tucker.
Thank you. Mr. Haley, how are we proceeding with this show cause arraignment pretrial?
Your Honor, we would ask the court to, let me back up, I'm sorry. As to the show cause, Mr. Tucker has availed himself of the court. He just had a miscommunication on prior dates. We would like to avail ourselves of the prosecution's plea offer at this time, Your Honor. Mr. Tucker will be pleading guilty to the reduced charge of disorderly person, and the current charge of making threats shall be dismissed.
Thank you. Mr. Tucker, would you raise your right hand for me, please, sir? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. May put your hand down. Sir, you had the opportunity to discuss this case with Mr. Hadley. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes.
And after having that conversation, sir, it's your desire this morning to plead guilty to the added count of disorderly person, and the threats allegation will be dismissed.
Yes.
Sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Sir, is it true that on March 28, 2024, you made voicemail threats? I'm sorry. Is it true that on March 28, 2024, in the city of Romulus, you were a disorderly person?
Yes.
Sir, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count of being a disorderly person, dismisses the original charge of making threats. Mr. Hadley, anything before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor, very briefly. While we don't mean to make light of the situation, this truly was just a family dispute between some members about an elderly member of the family that Mr. Tucker, I think, had the best intentions of trying to get his father back home to him. He's been advised of the available legal remedies with circuit court to get guardianship and everything else. So again, we would just ask the court to consider the situation when making your decision on sentencing.
Thank you. Mr. Tucker, the court will impose minimal fines and costs in this matter. It's a $100 fine. There's $100 in costs. There's $75 mandatory crime victims fee. There's $50 show cause fee for the prior failure to appear, $50 mandatory stay cost, and $20 fund fee. That's $395, sir. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount?
Yes.
Then what I will have you do, Mr. Tucker, at the conclusion of this hearing, you'll exit out that door behind you. You'll walk over to the court's cashiers, and they'll be able to help you set a payment plan. They are able to set a single payment plan for any of the outstanding files you have with this court, which include some citations, 1 in 2015. There are 3 from 2023. You owe the court $1,688 in those other matters. The collection department will be able to help you set a single payment plan to address all of these outstanding balances, okay?
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Hadley?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tucker, you can exit out of that door behind you. You don't need to worry about the computer. Court staff will come reset it. Please stop and speak to the cashiers, and you have a wonderful afternoon, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Go ahead. Your phone.
Sorry, Judge, I was just looking for Josh. I couldn't see. Oh, there he is. Okay,
He just went, yeah.
thank you.
This is 230013OD. This is City of Romulus versus LeVar Johnson. May I have your appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. May it please this honorable court, Attorney Phyllis Gayton Robinson, P 71733, on behalf of Mr. LeVar Johnson. Mr. Johnson, can you please state your name for the record?
LeVar Raymond Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. How are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, Mr. Johnson has been made an offer to plead to the amended charge of visibly impaired. He would like to take advantage of that offer.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. Sir, you've had the opportunity to discuss this matter with your attorney. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, Your Honor.
And after having that conversation, sir, it's your understanding and agreement that you will be entering a plea of guilty this morning to the added count of operating while visibly impaired, and the original charge of operating with blood alcohol content of 0.17 or more would be dismissed.
Yes, Your Honor.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, Your Honor.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
I understand, Your Honor.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
I am, Your Honor.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
I am, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson, is it true that on December 10th, 2023, in the city of Romulus, you operated a motor vehicle while you were visibly impaired by some intoxicant?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And sir, you admit and acknowledge that there is a Michigan State Police report that indicates that your blood alcohol content at that time was 0.239.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Manarino, are the people satisfied?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Ms. Gayton Johnson, Robinson, are you satisfied?
I am as well satisfied, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the amended count of operating while visibly impaired and will dismiss the original charge of operating with BAC of 0.17 or more. As is this court's policy with drinking and driving offenses, sir, you will be referred to the court's probation department. They will be in contact with you by email and by phone. There will be forms for you to complete and an interview for you to complete. At the conclusion of that intake process, they will develop a sentence recommendation and schedule you to return to this courtroom for sentence to be imposed. Is there anything else this morning on behalf of your client, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, that concludes the matter for today. Again, please respond to all efforts to be in contact from the probation department. I will see you at your sentencing. Have a good afternoon, sir.
You too, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Your
you.
Honor. Have a great day.
You too, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Stacy, have you spoken to the prosecutor?
Oh, no, Judge, I guess I messed up there. Good morning, Your Honor. For the record, Brian Stacy. I have not spoken with the prosecutor. I did email him yesterday. I don't know if he put anything in the file on.
He didn't put anything in the file. Do you want to speak to him or do you want me to just call the case?
Your Honor, I can speak to him. I did get the email. I believe this was my case. Yes.
It is.
Yep. And I did get the email, Mr. McKenzie, but we can just speak in the breakout room really quickly. I thought we put an offer in there, but I guess it didn't hit the file.
No, there's an offer dated May the 7th.
Okay.
Was there some different communication?
No, he had reached out with a counter offer and I just wanted to discuss.
Okay. I'll see you when you come out of the breakout.
All right.
Are you doing Davis and Mr. Hadley? Are you doing Davis and Pinal together or separately?
We can call them both together, Your Honor.
And Your Honor,
I think we're losing the prosecutor for just a moment, though.
I think we can call that first, Your Honor. It should be relatively.
Oh, okay. Are they together? Because I only see Miss Davis's name.
They are together. Ms.
We're not
Davis?
together. He went to work. I'm sorry.
Oh, all right. Is
He went to work for a case that's scheduled at 8:50?
Well, he
Well, he
logged
dri-
in, and that's my fault, Your Honor. He actually logged in at like 10 after 8.
No, I see him. That's why I was trying to call the case before. These are 24BL000230M, which is City of Belleville versus Pino, and 24BL000240M, City of Belleville versus Christina Davis. May I have your appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Jake Morris on behalf of the City of Belleville.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Josh Hadley appearing on behalf of co-defendants Matthew Pinot and Christina Davis.
Your name, please, sir? Mr. Pinot,
Matthew
state your
Pino.
name for me, sir. Thank you.
Matthew Pino.
Thank you. And ma'am?
Christina Davis.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. These cases were scheduled for a hearing on the violation of the conditional bond. Mr. Hadley, how are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, after a conversation with the prosecutor and in light of the Belleville recent change in ordinances, it's our understanding that the people will be dismissing this matter at this time. And any issues related to the dispute over the roosters will now become a civil issue moving forward. Mr. Martez, is that about accurate as to what we discussed?
That is correct, Mr. Hadley. And yes, Your Honor, at this time, I've been made aware through the Belleville City Police Department and the city more broadly that an ordinance was recently adopted that would address this issue as I believe a municipal civil infraction and more directly addressing the issue instead of a misdemeanor offense. And I believe it would be the more appropriate way to proceed. So at this time, we would be dismissing the criminal charge.
No objection, Mr. Hadley.
None, Your Honor.
This case is here, both cases are hereby dismissed. Ms. Davis, Mr. Pinal, you are free to go. You have a great afternoon.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Were you expecting Mr. Stacy to bring himself out?
I believe I was, but I can move them.
These are 24BL00160 A and B. These are City of Belleville versus Amanda McKenzie. May I have your appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Jake Mercer on behalf of the City of Belleville.
And good morning, Judge Martin. For the record, Brian Stacy on behalf of Amanda McKenzie, please state your name.
Amanda McKenzie.
Thank you. Today is the day and time scheduled for the arraignment, pretrial, and the pre-hearing. Mr. Stacy, how are we proceeding?
We would waive a formal reading and stand mute.
Any comment as to bond, Mr. Stacy?
None, Judge. My client has no prior criminal record. She works and lives locally.
Ma'am, the court is setting your bond at 5,000 personal. You do not need to post any money, but what you must do is continue to appear as directed by this court until such time as this matter is resolved in its entirety. Because the allegations that you were operating a motor vehicle while you were intoxicated, a condition of your bond is that you not purchase, possess, consume any alcoholic beverages until this case is resolved or until further order of the court. Mr. Stacy, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Mertes. How are we proceeding as to the pretrial?
Yes, Judge, I did have an opportunity and I emailed him, and we've had discussions this morning whereby my client would tender a plea of guilty to the added count of impaired driving and the added count of civil infraction for 0 to 5 energy speed. And I've explained to her rights. She has the advice of rights form in her hand. We've gone over them very copiously. And at this time, she's going to knowingly, voluntarily waive them in order to tender a plea of guilty to the added count and lay a factual basis thereto.
Thank you. Ma'am, would you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. You've had the opportunity to discuss this case with Mr. Stacy. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, Your Honor.
And after having that conversation, ma'am, it's your understanding and agreement that this morning you'll be entering pleas of responsible to speeding 0 to 5 over and guilty to operating while visibly impaired.
Judge, the 0 to 5 was energy speed, though. I did want to add that.
Oh, energy speed. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm sorry, Ms. McKenzie, you were saying that is your understanding?
I understand, Your Honor, yes.
And ma'am, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, Your Honor.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And ma'am, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead responsible and guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading responsible and guilty because you are in fact responsible and guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, is it true that on April the 21st, 2024, in the city of Belleville, you operated a motor vehicle while you were visibly impaired by some intoxicant?
Yes, Your Honor.
And ma'am, you admit and agree that on that date, time, and location, your PBT was a .135?
Yes, Your Honor.
And ma'am, is it also true on that date and time, April 21st, 2024, in the city of Belleville, you were driving 0 to 5 over energy speed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Stacy, would you like to inquire further of your client?
Do you believe your ability to drive was impaired due to the consumption of intoxicants? And you would stipulate that the breathalyzer back to the station was a .14? You're not contesting that?
Yes,
You're
yes,
not.
sir.
You're not.
Not contesting it, no.
Okay. Very good. I have no further questions, Judge.
Are the people satisfied?
People are satisfied with the factual basis, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ma'am, the court will accept your plea of guilty and responsible in these matters. The civil infraction fine will be $150. If you are able to pay that, ma'am, I'd ask that you pay that in the next 5 days. As for the misdemeanor matter, Because it is a drinking and driving offense, the court's policy is to refer the matter to the probation department for a interview and development of a sentence recommendation. The probation department will be in contact with you by email and by phone for you to complete certain forms, submit to an interview. They will develop that sentence recommendation and schedule you to return to this courtroom for sentence to be imposed, okay?
Does the court have her email on file, Judge?
That's typically, they typically verify it before you are in this main session, but I will take it from you, or you can send a chat directly to Mary Ann, however you want to proceed, sir.
I can give it to you. It's ALCRAIN 1042013
ALCRAIN 1042013 @gmail.
Yes, Your Honor.
I've written it in the file. My secretary will take it down. Probation department will be in contact with you. Anything else on behalf of the city?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Stacy?
Judge, only that it's nice to have Mr. Mertz aboard.
Ms. McKenzie, good luck to you. I will see you when the sentence date is scheduled.
Thank you. Your Honor.
All right, Judge, you have a great day.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is 24BL001410M. This is City of Belleville versus Hope. May I have your appearances, please?
Okay. Now, this is important what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
Good morning.
And it's
Mr. Stacy?
You got him.
Mr. Stacy? I'm sorry, I just didn't want him to say anything. Mr. Hadley,
Oh,
please proceed.
I think we were all trying to mute him at the same time. Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Josh Hadley, appearing on behalf of the defendant, Ms. Nadira Hope. Your Honor, I apologize. I think we just lost Mr. Mertz. I did receive an email from him this morning as part of the plea offers, Your Honor. It indicates that as to Ms. Hope's case, Belleville intends to dismiss the current charge and have noted that they will be reissuing charges under the state ordinance for the alleged act.
Ma'am, would you unmute yourself and state your name for me, please?
My name is Nadira Hope.
Thank you, Ms. Hope. Mr. Hadley, the court did receive from the prosecutor a indication that this would be dismissed. It's preempted by state law, signed and submitted by the prosecutor on May the 7th. Was there anything else, Mr. Hadley?
No, there wasn't. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day, Ms.
Thank
Hope.
you. You're free to go, Ms. Hope. This case has been dismissed.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
I haven't heard the term energy speed in.
I can't believe you just said that. I'm just going that file and I just typed in energy speed, but I don't know if that's a different entry, a different code. I gotta find that out. Does that mean something different than regular 0 to 5?
No.
Okay.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, can you hear us?
Yes.
Perfect.
And who is that with you, ma'am?
This is Mr. Golden.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna step out now. Have a wonderful
Mr.
day,
Golden, were
okay?
you? Thank you. You too. Mr. Golden, were you looking to speak with the court-appointed attorney this morning?
I don't have to, no. This for, what kind of charge is it?
Malicious destruction of property in the city of Romulus in July of 2021.
Yes, I could speak to a lawyer.
We'll get you moved into a breakout room with him. It looks like someone's in there. But if you give us a moment, the next one that's available, Marianne, we'll get Mr. Golden relabeled, Andrew Golden relabeled and moved in with MIDC. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Jadala.
Number two on the list is 9 o'clock. They're started, they're going right now.
Mr. Black?
They came on though, that's good. And it takes a little while to get oh, it's quick on the sea. Good morning. Can you hear me from the jail?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing well. How are you this morning?
I'm good, thank you.
Is this for Mr. Black?
It is, sir.
Give us a couple minutes. We'll get him pulled and we'll put him in front of the camera as soon as we got him down here.
Thank you much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And Natalie's in the classroom.
Hmm. Two four zero two eight four OM. This is City of Romulus versus Shelley Bird. May I have your appearances, please?
Daniel Batar on behalf of Miss Bird, Your Honor. Miss Bird, can you state your name for the record, please?
Shelley Bird.
How are you proceeding with the pretrial, Mr. Batar?
Your Honor, as to the arraignment, we'll waive a formal reading and stand mute. I have to get some discovery from the prosecutor. We're asking for a pretrial at a later date.
Did you speak to Ms. Manarino already in this matter?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
June sixth, Judge, at 9:10.
Thank you. Ms. Bird, your case is being adjourned to June 6th at 9:10 a.m. That's back here on Zoom with me in courtroom number 1. The previous restriction that you have no contact with Frank Baker will continue. Is there anything else, Mr. Batar?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bird, you're free to go. I'll see you on June 6th. You have a good afternoon.
Thank you, you too.
Miss
Thank
Bird, I'll give
you.
you a call when I get more information, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is 20RP03881OM, City of Romulus versus Davis. Would you state your names for the record, please?
Good morning,
Portia
Your Honor. Attorney
Davis.
Josh Hadley, appearing on behalf of Portia Davis. Sorry, Miss Davis, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please go right ahead and state
You're
your name for
fine,
the
Ms.
record.
Davis. I heard you. Okay.
Your Honor.
Today is the day and time scheduled for arraignment pretrial. Mr. Hadley, you're fine. How are we proceeding this morning?
Is Miss Manarino with us? I'm looking. Oh, there she is. Your Honor, we're going to
She
be
is.
asking that the matter be set for a final pretrial with the complainant to appear, and we would ask it be set about 3 weeks out or more so we can get some discovery as well.
Mr. Hadley, I'm going to interrupt you because we can't set final pretrial because Ms. Davis has not been arraigned because she has gone into warrant status 3 times in this case.
My apologies.
So
Your
let's
Honor,
try
we'll
it
waive
again.
Yeah, we'll waive the formal reading of the arraignment. Would ask the court to adopt a PR bond for Miss Davis. We've had a chance to speak about this matter. She looks forward to defending the case and has agreed that she'll be appearing at all future court dates and will stay in contact with me. And I would also note this is a 2020 case.
Thank you, Mr. Hadley. Ms. Davis, the court will set your bond in this case at 5,000 personal. The allegation is an assault and battery. I'm looking for a copy of the complainant's name. Oh, stay away from Speedway gas station on Merriman.
Miss Davis has no issue with staying away from the Speedway gas station until this case is concluded.
And Mr. Hadley, I appreciate your indication that this case is from 2020. But just so you're clear, there was a warrant for her failure to appear in September 2020. That warrant was canceled, was reinstated in December of 2020, was canceled again, was reinstated again. And she failed to appear as recently as April the 18th. She's here this morning. We've arraigned her, set the bond, adjourning the pretrial to.
Josh, did you say you wanted to go out past?
You know what? Looking at what year this happened, I don't think we need to go out that far. Let's, Ms. Manarino, how long would you guys like to notify the complainant?
I think a couple weeks. I've already sent you the report, Josh.
Okay, so, Mary Ann, whatever the court would prefer, as far as scheduling, we'll work with you guys.
June 6th at 9:20.
Ms. Davis, when you logged on this morning, did you confirm your address with a clerk of the court staff?
Yes, I did.
Okay, then ma'am, I will see you back here on June 6th at 9:20. What's wrong, Mr. Hadley?
I'm sorry, I will actually be out of state on June 6th. It's my one trip this summer.
June 20th at 9 o'clock.
Excellent. June 20th at 9 o'clock.
June 20th at 9 a.m. as a final pretrial in this case. Back on Zoom. I will see you then, Ms. Davis. Anything else, Ms. Manarino?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Hadley?
No, thank you for accommodating. I appreciate it.
No worries. You have a good day. Ms. Davis, you're free to go.
All right, thank you. Have a great evening.
You too. Mr. Black, were you looking to speak to the court-appointed attorney, sir?
I'm not sure what this one pertaining to, so yes.
This is a driving while license suspended case from 2023 in the city of Romeo. So we'll get you moved in with the court-appointed attorneys. This is 23RP 062160M, City of Romulus versus Emmanuel Jones. State your name for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Josh Hadley, appearing on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Emmanuel Jones. Mr. Jones, please state your name for the court.
Emmanuel Jones.
Thank you. Today's the day and time scheduled for the final pretrial. We're a little early.
Oh, you're right, Your Honor. I think it's only been about 9 minutes. Mr. Jones, Your Honor, would you like to call it about 10 minutes or so?
I will. It won't even be that long.
Okay.
Mr. Jones, remute yourself. We'll get back to your case in just a few moments, sir.
Judge, I'm sorry to interrupt. Has a Gerald James checked in? He has a final pretrial scheduled at 9:10.
I don't see that name, sir.
No,
And
I will.
everyone's identified already.
I will check back in. I'm doing Judge Green's docket. I'll check back in to see if he's showed up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
2-6. Oh. Mr. Bitar, did you speak to Mr. Golden?
I did, Your Honor. We're ready.
This is 21RP 021220OM. This is City of Romulus versus Andrew Golden. Your names, please.
Daniel Bitar on behalf of Mr. Golden, Your Honor. Mr. Golden, can you state your name, please?
Mr. Bitar, how are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, Mr. Golden is going to plead guilty to disorderly person.
Thank you. Mr. Golden, would you raise your right hand for me, please, sir? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. Mr. Golden, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Bitar. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes,
And after having that conversation, sir, it's your understanding and agreement that you'll tender a plea of guilty this morning to the added count of disorderly person and the original charge of malicious destruction of property would be dismissed.
yes,
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
yes,
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
yes,
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily.
yes,
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
no,
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
yes,
Sir, is it true that on July 6, 2021, the city of Romulus, you were a disorderly person?
yes,
Satisfied, Ms. Manarino?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Mr. Bitar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Golden, the court will accept your plea of guilty being a disorderly person and dismiss the original charge of malicious destruction of property. Mr. Bitar, anything before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
Judge, I'm asking you to give Mr. Golden credit for time served. He has been in MDOC since January of this year. He will be there until October of 2026.
Any objection, Ms. Manarino?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Golden, the court will give you credit for 30 days served in MDOC custody and close this matter out. Anything else, Ms. Manarino?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Bitar?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Golden, that concludes the matter with the court this morning. Good luck to you, sir.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Manarino, Mr. Jadala popped in for Mr. James, and I see Mr. Busby here on the screen.
Yes, Judge.
When he pops back in, I'll call the case so that Mr. Busby may be released. Mr. Jadala's with Judge Green for a moment.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. This is 23RP062160M, City of Romulus versus Emmanuel Jones.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Josh Hadley appearing on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Emmanuel Jones, who stated his name previously for the record. I believe he is here. Mr. Jones, please take yourself off mute.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Today is the day and time scheduled for the final pretrial in this matter. The case was scheduled at 9:10. It's now 9:33 by this court's clock. Ms. Manarino, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, my office did notify the victim on March 7th of the pretrial. We have not received any response to that communication.
And Your Honor, I would be asking that the matter be dismissed without prejudice accordingly.
Thank you. Case being scheduled at 9:10, it being 9:33 by the court's clock. Complainant failing to appear. This case is hereby dismissed. Anything else, Ms. Manarino?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
And Ms. Manarino.
That concludes this matter. Mr. Jones, you're free to go. You have a good day. Good luck to you.
You as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Hadley, as a procedural matter, I'm not sure how this happened, that this Mr. Jones had not been arraigned, but the case had been scheduled repeatedly, so the ROA might look a little odd. Huh. That's me talking to myself, Mr. Hadley. I'm sorry.
No worries. I should have caught that myself.
Mr. Lee, have you spoken to the prosecutor, sir?
Yes. Well,
If
to the
that's a
attorney.
hat, take it off for me, sir. I'm sorry.
He has not spoken to the prosecutor, Your Honor. He spoke with me, and after discussion, I believe Mr. Lee, well, I'll let him speak, but I believe he's waiving MIDC.
He's labeled as waiving MIDC, and so I was going to have him go in and speak to Ms. Manarino.
That would be fine, Your Honor.
Thank you. And then Ms. Manarino, before you leave, I'm going to release Mr. Busby. Mr. James was scheduled to be here at 9:10. It's 9:35. This is 24RP 00761OM.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Busby. You have a good day, sir. Good luck to you.
You too.
Thank you. And Mary Ann, I'll make a note in the file that the James matter, the case that was just called, will be set for pre-trial, I'm sorry, set for show cause. The case was scheduled at 9:10, is 9:35. Mr. Jadala was here, the complainant was here, the defendants failed to appear. These are 24RP 01142 A and B. These are City of Romulus versus Tanya Campbell. These cases were scheduled, the 42A case was scheduled as a motion to set aside the previously entered default based on an improper information in the citation, which was since corrected. The case was scheduled for 8 a.m. today. It's now 9:37 a.m. by this court's clock. The Court has checked the virtual breakout rooms. There's no one by that name appearing. They are not in this main session. Notice was mailed to the defendant to appear this date and time on April the 22nd. Based on the failure to appear, request to set aside the default in the civil infraction is deemed denied. And the B file, misdemeanor file, will be set for show cause. Excuse me, already in show cause status. Bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. This one, these are gonna be, oops, Mackenzie's, yep. Thank you. This is 24RP 01315 AOM. This is City of Romulus versus Kayla Cagle, CAGLE. This case was scheduled for show cause pretrial at 8:15 a.m. It's now 9:40 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant has failed to appear. Bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. These are two for BL 00065 A and B. These are City of Belleville versus Elisa Cook. These cases were scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8:15 a.m. It's now 9:41 a.m. by this court's clock. The court has checked the virtual breakout rooms. There is no one by that name in this session or in this main session based on the defendant's failure to appear again in these matters. Bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. This is 2-3-0-9-4-4 OD, City of Romulus versus Dwayne Lee. Sir, unmute yourself, turn your video on and state your name for me, please. Mr. Lee? Mr. Black, have you spoken to the MIDC court-appointed attorney? It looks like he's in a meeting room with someone else. As soon as he comes out, I'll call your case, sir. Mr. Lee? Dwayne Lee? Unmute yourself, sir, and state your name for me, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now, sir,
Hello?
state your name for me.
Dwayne Lee.
Mr. Lee, the way the court staff have you labeled indicate that you're waiving your right to have the assistance of the court-appointed attorney this morning. Is that correct?
Well, no, she said that they will be able to provide an attorney for me or something.
Your Honor, when I spoke with Mr. Lee, he indicated that he does want an attorney to represent him. And so I don't know if the court wanted him to speak with Mr. Bitar since he's already spoken with Mr. Hadley, or how the court wanted to proceed. So that's why I brought him back into the main session to see how the court wants to handle it. Because he does want an attorney, and it sounds like, you know, he may want to have a trial. And so I just wasn't sure.
Mr. Lee, my question to you was, the way the court staff have you labeled indicate that you're waiving your right to have the assistance of a court-appointed attorney. Ms. Manarino has just indicated that you're asking to speak to one of the court-appointed attorneys. Sir, how is it that you like to proceed this morning?
Well, I would like assistance of an attorney, but the attorney that I had, he changed up. So, and then I just got the attorney that I had when I first came, and I'm not going to get into what was said, but it basically was concluded that he can't really like represent me.
Don't say what, yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Lee. Mr. Hadley, did you speak to Mr. Lee this morning?
I most certainly did.
Okay, and is it that he wants to speak to Mr. Bitar? Is that
Would you like to speak to the other attorney, Mr. Lee? That's what I offered you before, and you told me you didn't want to talk to the attorney. Do you want to talk to the other one who's here?
I absolutely said that if an attorney is able to represent me, and they're not going to say what was said in our meeting, then yes,
they can't.
I would.
Okay, then Mr. Lee, what we'll do is get you into Mr. Bitar's waiting room, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Manarino. Mr. Hadley, you spoke to Mr. Black?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. We're set to move forward.
This is 23RP04801B, City of Romulus versus Andarius Black.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Your appearances.
Attorney Josh Hadley, appearing on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Londarius Black, who's appearing via Zoom from the Oakland County Jail. Mr. Black, please state your name.
Londarius Black.
Thank you. Mr. Hadley, this case is currently in warrant status. The court is recalling the warrant. Today is the arraignment pretrial. How are we proceeding?
Your Honor, will waive the formal reading of the arraignment and would ask that the court allow us to tender a plea offer as presented from the people, where the driving while license suspended charge will be dismissed. Mr. Black will plead to guilty to no operator's license on person. No ops.
Mr. Black, was that your understanding and agreement, sir?
Yes.
Would you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You may put your hand down. Sir, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Hadley this morning, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes.
And after having that conversation, sir, it's your understanding and agreement that you will be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of no operator's license on person, and the driving while license suspended would be dismissed.
Yes.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No,
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
yes,
Sir, is it true that on September 11, 2023, in the city of Romulus, you operated a motor vehicle with no operator's license on your person?
yes,
Mr. Black, the court will accept your plea of guilty to no ops and dismiss the original charge of driving while license suspended. Mr. Hadley, any comment before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor. There are two civil infractions that were connected with this matter, totaling $720, a speeding ticket and equipment violation. Mr. Black is currently incarcerated in the Oakland County Jail. He's been there for over 40 days. I would ask the court to issue a judgment of sentence for time served in lieu of the other financial obligations he already has to this court.
Respectfully, Mr. Hadley, I appreciate Mr. Black's position. The court's position is that this is still a relatively new judgment, and the two civil infractions were for speeding. He was driving in excess of 20 miles per hour over the posted speed limit. The court has concerns about that, along with the fact that he has an outstanding matter with this court that dates back to 2020. So your request is denied, but what the court will do is impose minimal fines and costs in this matter, and upon Mr. Black's release, if he needs alternatives to the fines and costs and wishes to do community service in lieu of, or to reduce some of the fines and costs, the court would consider that. The court will impose the following: fine of $100, cost of $100, there's $75 mandatory crime victims fee, there's $50 show cause fee, $50 warrant fee, $50 mandatory state costs, and $20 fund fee. That's $445. Mr. Black, upon your release, you may appear at the court, speak to someone in the court's probation department, and make arrangements to do community service, at least in lieu of some of the fines and costs, or make a payment plan, or contact the court by email and do the same. Anything else, Mr. Hadley?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Black, that concludes this matter. Good luck to you, sir.
thanks.
This is 23BL010640M. This is City of Belleville versus Philip Miller. May I have your appearances, please?
Daniel Batar on behalf of Mr. Miller, Your Honor. Mr. Miller, can you turn on your camera and state your name, please?
Sure. Philip Miller?
Good morning, Mr. Batar. How are we proceeding in this pretrial?
Your Honor, Mr. Miller has cleaned up what he was supposed to. The prosecutor is moving to dismiss.
This case is dismissed. Anything further, Mr. Batar?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Miller, you're free to go. You have a good afternoon, sir.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Judge, can I ask a question about something else?
Absolutely, sir.
Mary Ann knows. Dwayne Lee was put in my breakout room, and my name is next to it, but I don't have any record of me representing him. Mary Ann, or does anyone else know?
Mr. Jadala represented him. This case was scheduled.
No, he was mine, Your
Hold
Honor.
on.
Oh,
I'm
he's yours.
sorry?
Mr. Lee was originally assigned to was my case.
Oh,
Sammer stood in for me to cover one of the pre-trials at one point while we were waiting for discovery. So Mr.
Okay.
Batar, I was able to meet with Mr. Lee. He's relieved me of my services and would like to speak with you.
Oh, okay. That explains. All right. Thank you.
thank you,
I've got
Mr. Batar.
Mr. Batar, I've got discovery if you'd like me to forward it over to you.
Yeah, could you please?
Yes, I'll do that right now.
Thank you.
These are 23RP061310M and 23RP061320M. These are City of Romulus versus Diana Smith. Ms. Smith, unmute yourself and turn your video on. State your name for me, please.
Diana Smith.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Josh Hadley, appearing on behalf of the defendant, Ms. Diana Smith.
Mr. Hadley, this is one of those anomaly cases. The 131 file with the offense date of October 30th, 2023 is scheduled for final pretrial today, and Ms. Smith has never been arraigned in this matter. The 6132 case is also scheduled for final pretrial. She has not been arraigned. I'm not sure how that's happened, considering she first was scheduled for December 21st.
And for procedural purposes, Your Honor, we are prepared for the arraignment. We will waive the formal reading of the arraignment, enter a plea of not guilty, and we're prepared to move forward with today's final pretrial.
I'm sorry, and move forward with what, Mr.
I'm
Hadley?
sorry, with today's final pretrial, Your Honor.
How are we proceeding with the final pretrial, Mr. Hadley?
Your Honor, the complainant was scheduled to appear today. The complainant was Cassandra Imus. This case was set for 9 o'clock. It's now 9:54. There is no Cassandra Imus that I'm identifying. We would ask the court to dismiss the case without prejudice.
Ms. Manarino, do you have any information regarding that?
Your Honor,
Complainant.
my office did send a letter to the complainant on March 7th notifying her of today's final pretrial. We have not received any response.
Thank you. That being the case, defense motion to dismiss is granted. Ms. Smith, this case is dismissed without prejudice. You are free to go. Anything else, Mr. Hadley?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good luck to you, Ms. Smith. You have a good afternoon.
You too, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Batar, or I'm sorry, Your Honor. I see a Mohammed Ashan. Is that been assigned to either of us? I see MIDC. Is that you, Dan?
I spoke with him already. Did you speak to him previously?
No, I just saw he was in room 13. I just want to make sure we didn't lose anybody. Thank you.
Two 4BL 001330M, City of Belleville versus Chad Shaw. May I have your appearances?
Daniel Batar, on behalf of Chad Shaw. Say your name, please.
Mr. Shaw?
Looks like he froze.
Yeah. Mr. Price, turn your video on, unmute yourself. This is 24W563884OT. Wayne County Sheriff's versus Price. State your name for me, sir.
Alejandro Price.
Mr. Price, the way the court staff have you labeled indicate that you're waiving your right to the assistance of the court-appointed attorney this morning. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Have you?
Your Honor, if I
Have you
may,
had the chance to speak to the prosecutor? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Judge, I would just indicate, Mr. Price was placed into my waiting room. However, it looks like the arresting agency on this was Wayne County. So I would just ask that the court set this for a date when the Wayne County prosecutor is here and can handle Mr. Price's matter.
Mr. Price, were you able to
Yes.
hear Ms. Manarino just now?
Yes, I was.
Judge, some of the Wayne County fall under the MSEU that is in fact Romulus, which is why it's scheduled that way.
Oh,
Thank you, Carol.
so I guess I didn't know that that was the case, Judge. My apologies.
No worries. Do you want to go back into the breakout with Mr. Price?
Please, Your Honor, I'll move him and I'll talk to him about the case.
Thank you. Mr. Shaw, are you able to state your name for me now, please, sir?
I am, Your Honor, and I apologize.
Mr. Shaw, we've lost.
The internet's less than.
No worries. Mr. Batar is back. How are we proceeding with Mr. Shaw?
Your Honor, Mr. Shaw is going to proceed as charged. It would be 771.1 for 3 months.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Plead as charged. 771.1 for 3 months.
Thank you. Mr. Shaw, would you raise your right hand for me, please, sir? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Thank you. You've had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Batar this morning. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And after having that conversation, sir, is your understanding and agreement that you will plead guilty as charged with your sentence delayed for a period of 3 months?
Yes, Your Honor.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind?
Yes, Your Honor.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or stand cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor.
And sir, your Honor, you plead freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
I'm sorry, what was that one?
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Shaw, is it true that on April 7, 2024, in the city of Romulus, you were in possession of narcotic paraphernalia, more specifically a pipe with burnt black and white powdery residue?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, the court accepts your plea of guilty as charged in possession of the narcotic paraphernalia as indicated by Mr. Batar. Your sentence will be delayed for a period of 3 months. Sir, so long as you incur no new criminal offenses in the state of Michigan for the next 90 days and pay costs of $150, the case will be administratively reviewed for dismissal at the end of that 3-month period. Sir, do you need more than 5 days to pay the $150?
More than 5 days, yes, Your Honor, if I may, if we can run this as long as the 3 months, it will be paid by the end of the 3 months. I am currently in a sober living environment. I am getting my job back. However, money has been hard to get a hold of until now. I'm starting my new job Monday. If you could please just let me run it for the period of the 3 months, I promise it will be paid by then.
Absolutely, Mr. Shaw, not a problem. 90 days, no new criminal offenses, and 90 days to pay the $150. Is there anything else, Mr. Batar?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shaw, you're free to go. Good luck to you, sir. You have a good afternoon.
Thank you. I wish the best to you and your staff, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Zerb, have you spoken to the prosecutor, Ms. Manarino?
I have not, Your Honor. I
Let's
would
get
like
you
to
moved
do
in with
that.
Ms. Manarino. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is 23BL009130T. This is City of Belleville versus Mohammed Hassan. May I have your appearances, please?
Daniel Batar on behalf of Mohammed Hassan, Your Honor. Mr. Hassan, can you
State your
state
name for me, sir? Yes, sir. State your name for me.
Mohammed Hassan.
Thank you. Mr. Batar, how are you proceeding with this arraignment pretrial?
Your Honor, as to the arraignment, we'll waive a formal reading and stand mute, please. And we're asking for a pretrial at a later date so the prosecutor can get me some discovery.
June 6th at 9:20.
Mr. Hassan, your case is being adjourned to June the 6th at 9:20 a.m. back here in courtroom number 1 with me on Zoom. Notice of their new date and time will be mailed to you at the address you verified with court staff. Mr. Batar, the court's making the note that discovery has been requested. Is there anything else in this matter?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hassan. I'll see you on June 6th. You have a good day, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Carol, did you need something?
Nope, just here till you guys are done, so I know I'm out of here.
Thank you. I was gonna say our last case was scheduled at 9:40. It's now 10:03 by my clock. Anyone who's not here is untimely and late.
Sounds good.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Price, did you speak to Ms. Manarino?
Yes, I did.
As soon as she comes back out, I'll get your case called, sir.
Okay.
Two four BL 00083 BOT. This is City of Belleville versus Laura Delgado. This case was scheduled this morning for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8:15 a.m. It's now 10:04 by this court's clock. Defendant has failed to appear. The court has checked the virtual breakout rooms. There is no one there by that name. There are no unidentified persons based on the defendant's failure to appear. For a second time in this matter, bench warrant shall issue 5,010%. Two four RP 00851OM, City of Romulus versus Terrence, Germany. This case was scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8:15 a.m. It's now 10:05 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant has failed to appear. The court has checked the virtual breakout. There is no one by that name. There are no unidentified persons in this court session. Based on the defendant's failure to appear for a second time in this matter, bench warrant shall issue 5,010%. Marianne, I think I gave you Daryl James by mistake. If you have it, would you bring it back out for me, please?
Yes.
Thank you. This is 24W5638840T, Wayne County Sheriff's versus Price.
Good morning, Your Honor. Angela Manning on behalf of the people.
State your name for me, Mr. Price.
Alejandro Price.
Mr. Price, the way the court staff have you labeled indicate that you're waiving your right to have the assistance of the court-appointed attorney this morning. Is that correct?
Correct.
You've spoken to the prosecutor, Ms. Manarino?
Yes.
Ms. Manarino, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, the people are moving to amend the charge from driving on a suspended license to no operator's license on person. I understand that Mr. Price wants to plead guilty to the no ops.
Yes.
Mr. Price, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. Sir, you've had the opportunity to speak to Ms. Manarino. You understand the charges you faced this morning?
Yes.
Yeah. And after having that conversation, sir, is your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of no operator's license on person and the original charge of driving while license suspended, revoked, or denied would be dismissed?
Correct.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily.
Yes, I am.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty.
Nope.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, I am.
Sir, is it true that on April the 15th, 2024, in the city of Romulus, Wayne County Sheriff's found you to be operating a motor vehicle with no operator's license on your person?
Correct.
The court accepts your plea of guilty to no operator's license, will dismiss the original charge of driving while license suspended. Sir, do you have any comments before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
No, I don't.
Sir, there'll be a fine of $100, cost of $100. There's $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state costs, and $20 fund fee. That's $345. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount?
Can I pay it on the 16th when I receive my next check?
2 weeks?
Like next Friday, I think. Like not this Friday coming up, but next Friday.
I'm with you, sir. 14 days to pay. Anything else, Mr. Price?
No, that's it.
Have a good day, sir. You're free to go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. This is 23RP057550OM, City of Romulus versus Daryl Garrett. May I have your appearance, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Angela Mannering on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Joseph Schwerb representing Mr. Price. Mr. Garrett.
Sir, state your name for me, please.
Daryl, she's talking to you, I think.
Oh, Daryl Garrett.
Thank you. Today is the day and time scheduled for the pre-trial. How are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, we did have a discussion this morning. We just needed a little additional time to continue negotiations, so we are asking for a brief adjournment.
Oh, I failed to notice, sir, this case is in warrant status. The court will recall the warrant.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We will adjourn this matter over to
June 6th at 9:30.
May I look at my calendar for one moment, please?
Yes,
June
sir.
6 at 9:30. I have a couple of court hearings on that morning, Judge. Can we do a different day?
June 20th at 9:10.
Yeah, that should be fine. June 20th at 9:10. Thank you, Your Honor.
June 20th at 9:10, back on Zoom, back here with me in number one. And in the interim, Mr. Garrett, you have some outstanding matters with the court. You owe a total of $3,656. Sir, if you have not already done so, I need you to contact the court's collection department. You can do that in one of three ways. You may come in person to the court and speak to a cashier. You may submit a request for a payment plan online. On the court's website, there's a contact us button that will drop down. You can submit a request for a payment plan, or you may call and speak to someone in the court's collection department. But sir, please do that sooner rather than later, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll have a conversation with my client. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You're free to go. You have a great day.
Thank you, Your
Daryl,
Honor.
please call me.
Okay.
Two four RP 01892 A, B, and C. These are City of Romulus versus Larry Todd Jr. Your appearances, please.
Daniel Batar on behalf of Mr. Todd, Your Honor. Mr. Todd, can you state your name for the record, please?
Larry Todd Jr.
Thank you.
Thank you. How are we proceeding with these arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing this morning?
Your Honor, Mr. Todd is going to plead responsible to double parking, also plead responsible to civil infraction plate violation, and the no proof will be dismissed.
Thank you. Mr. Todd, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. You've had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Bitar this morning, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, Your Honor.
And after having that conversation, sir, it's your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of responsible to disobeying a traffic control device, responsible to the added count of double parking, and the original charge of the registration or plate violation, and no proof of insurance will be dismissed.
Judge,
Yeah.
I think we have
Oh.
that wrong. Maybe I misspoke. The only two things he's pleading to is double parking and the civil infraction plate violation. The traffic control device will be dismissed and the no proof are dismissed.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bitar, say that again.
He's pleading responsible to double parking and the civil infraction plate violation. So the traffic device is being dismissed, the no insurance is being dismissed.
Okay, but they have to go on a file. So I'm trying to just assign them to a file. If he's pleading to the civil infraction of the registration or plate violation, that's an amendment of the B file, and then double parking on maybe the A file?
Is that the traffic control device?
Correct.
Yes, that's fine, Judge.
Thank you. So, Mr. Tyler, I'll ask it again, sir. Is it your understanding and agreement this morning that you're tendering a plea of responsible to double parking and responsible to the civil infraction of the plate violation?
Yes, Your Honor.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your pleas this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, Your Honor.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead responsible?
No, Your Honor.
You're pleading responsible because you are in fact responsible.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Todd, is it true that on April the 6th, 2024, in the city of Romulus, you had a plate that was improper in some way, shape, or form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, is it also true that on that date and time you were double parked contrary to law?
Yes, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Mr. Bitar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, the court accepts your pleas of responsible to the double parking and the plate violation. Mr. Bitar, was there any agreement as to the fines in these matters?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Todd, the court will impose on the double parking in the 9-2A file a fine of $200.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Your Honor.
And for the plate violation, sir, a fine of $300. Do you
Yes,
need
Your Honor.
more than 5 days to pay those amounts, sir?
Yes.
Then I'll ask you to do one of three things in the next 5 days. You can come in person to the court's collection department, set a payment plan. You may go online to the court's website. There's a contact us button. If you click on that, it will drop down. You can submit a request for a payment plan, or you may call the court, speak to someone in the collections department, ask them to set a payment plan, okay?
Okay.
But something sooner rather than later. Anything else, Mr. Bitar?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ty. You're free to go. You have a good day. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is 24RP007610M. This is City of Romulus versus Daryl James. Your appearances, please. You're muted, Mr. Hadley.
Mr. James, can you turn your camera on, take yourself off mute? He's here at the courthouse, Your Honor. Attorney Josh Hadley, appearing on behalf of defendant Daryl James. Mr. James,
I'll call for help.
okay.
Is he in the breakout room, in the Zoom
No.
room?
He's here. He's just in the downstairs courthouse Zoom room. He's in main court session right now. I can see him. He's just not.
Thank you. I see him. Let's figure out where he is.
They're on their way.
Thank you. Mr. Hadley, in the interim, did you speak to Mr. Lamb or is he with someone else?
I did speak with Mr. Lamb, Your Honor. I will be representing Mr. Lamb. We can go forward with that if you're ready.
This is 2403810D. This is City of Romulus versus Michael Lamb. Your appearances, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Josh Hadley, appearing on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Michael Lamb. Mr. Lamb, please state your name for the record.
Michael Lamb.
Thank you. Today is the day and time scheduled for the arraignment and pretrial. Mr. Hadley, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, we'll waive the formal reading of the arraignment. We will enter a plea of not guilty, and we will be asking for an adjournment at this time to obtain discovery. As to bond, I'm sorry, I jumped over that. We would ask the court issue a PR bond on Mr. Lamb's behalf.
Mr. Lamb, the court will set your bond in this matter at
Okay.
5,000 personal. You do not need to post any money, but what you must do is continue to appear as directed by the court until this matter
Okay.
is resolved in its entirety. Because there is an allegation that you are operating a motor vehicle with a blood alcohol content of 0.153, condition of your bond is that you not purchase, possess, consume alcoholic beverages until this matter is resolved or until further order of the court. Mr. Hadley, the court will make an indication that you've requested discovery in this matter, and we will adjourn the pretrial to
June 6th at 9:30.
no, Mr. Hadley's on vacation, June
Oh, that's
20th.
Yep, sorry about that. Yes, at 9:10.
Thank you very much.
June 20th at 9:10, back here on this same Zoom, Mr. Lamb. Anything else, Mr. Hadley?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Lamb, the court staff will mail notice of the new date and time to the address you verified with the staff this morning, okay?
Okay.
Have a good day, sir. You're free to go.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's try 24RP007610M, City of Romulus versus Daryl James.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Josh Hadley, appearing on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Daryl James. Mr. James, state your name for the record, please.
Daryl James.
Mr. James, your case was scheduled at 9:10 a.m. The court called it at 9:35. The complainant victim, Mr. Busby, was here.
I was here too. I was sitting out in the courtroom. They had me sitting in the chair. The Zoom room was busy.
I would confirm that, Your Honor, is that he was one of the multiple people who was lined up waiting to use the court's Zoom equipment today.
How are we proceeding, Mr. Hadley?
Your Honor, as you court already acknowledged, the complainant did appear. I'm going to be asking, it looks like discovery has not been requested or obtained by MIDC at this point. I would ask for an adjournment to obtain discovery.
The discovery was requested back on April the 18th. If your office hasn't received it,
Your Honor, there's a little bit of I believe this case, I don't believe this case was assigned to MIDC counsel Samer Jadala. I'm standing in today, but Mr. James seemed to indicate, I don't think that he's received the discovery. So I guess I'm just asking for an adjournment, Your Honor, and I'll get with Mr. Jadala and find out what's going on.
I'll make a notation that discovery's been requested again, and please follow up with Mr. Jadala in the interim, and we will reset final pretrial where the complainant does not need to appear on that June 20th date. We'll get a time for you in just 1 second.
9:20.
At 9:20 a.m. And Mr. James, it will be back on Zoom again, back with this same Zoom ID. If you are going to be appearing in the court's house for the hearing in lieu of Zooming in from some other location, I will try to be more mindful of having the court officers relay that people are waiting. Anything else, Ms. Manarino?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Hadley?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. James, you're free to go. You have a good afternoon. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Mary Ann, I'm stepping off for 1 second, but I'll be right back.
Okay.
Mary Ann, it looks like is Mr. Lee the only defendant I think left?
Yeah, yes, I believe so.
Did I, just so I make sure I didn't miss it, Tiona Scott Brown, she was scheduled today at 9 o'clock. Did anyone see her check in at all?
Let me check. The name is not familiar. No, she did not.
I didn't think so. I just wanted to make sure before I wrote it up.
Two four zero two seven seven OM. This is City of Romulus versus Donald Laramie. This case was scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8:15 a.m. It's now 10:26 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the court having checked the breakouts. There's no one by that name. There are no unidentified persons in this court session. Defendant having failed to appear for a second time, bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. Is the May 24th jury trial, is that? No, that's not. I thought that was Mr. Haley for some reason, but it's not. Okay. It's not you, sir. I'm just making up cases. This is 2402830D. This is City of Romulus versus Jessica Owens. This case was scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8:15 a.m. It's now 10:27 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant has failed to appear. The court has checked the breakout sessions. There is no one by that name in this court's session. There are no unidentified persons based on the defendant's failure to appear for a second time in this matter. Bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. Mr. Mertz, I pulled you out because this court is calling failures to appear. The only remaining defendant present is for the city of Romulus. You're welcome to hang around. I'm not sure why you would, though.
Thank you, Judge, for letting me know. I think I'll just be on my way then.
Have a good day. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep, sounds good. You too.
This is 240137 OM, City of Romulus versus Crystal Scott. This case was scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8:15 a.m. It's now 10:28 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant has failed to appear. The court has checked the breakout rooms. There is no one by this name. There are no unidentified persons in this court's main session based on the defendant's failure to appear for a second time in this matter. Bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. Two four RP 01768 A and B. These are City of Romulus versus Jonathan Wilson. These cases were scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8:15 a.m. It's now 10:29 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear for a second time in this matter, there being no identified persons, no one by that name in the court's breakout sessions. Bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. Two four BL 00064 AOT. This is City of Belleville versus Darius Wright. This case was scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8:15 a.m. It's now 10:30 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, there being no unidentified persons in this court's main session or the virtual sessions, no unidentified persons. Defendant having failed to appear for a second time, bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. These are 24 RP 01899 A and B. These are City of Romulus versus Damon Douglas. These cases were scheduled at 9:30 a.m. for arraignment pretrial. It's now 10:31 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant has failed to appear. Matters will be set for show cause. These are 24BL 00129 A and B. These are City of Belleville versus Honesty Robinson. These cases were scheduled for arraignment pretrial and pre-hearing at 8:30 a.m. It's now 10:32 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant has failed to appear. The A file, which is a civil infraction, will be deemed in default. The B file misdemeanor will be set for show cause. This is a recall of 2309440 OD, City of Romulus versus Dwayne Lee. May I have your appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Daniel Batar on behalf of Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee, can you state your name for the record, please?
Dwayne Lee.
Thank you. Today is the day and time scheduled for the pretrial. Mr. Batar, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, Mr. Lee is going to retain an attorney, so we're asking the court to adjourn this at least 30 days so he can make that happen.
June 20th at 9:20, Judge.
June 20th at what time, Ariane?
9:20.
Thank you. Mr. Lee, the only concern that this court has, I'm just flipping through the file, you appeared multiple times in this case. And I'm not sure, but oh, he was arraigned on May 2nd. It just does not showing in the file. Okay, it's one to be good, to be clear. June 20th at 9:20 a.m., you're to retain your own counsel. Is that correct, Mr. Lee?
Yeah, I guess I have to.
That being the case, please advise that attorney that you retain that you have an appearance date on June the 20th. Is there anything else, Mr. Batar?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Manarino?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. I will see you on June 20th. Court staff will mail notice of that new date and time.
Excuse me, what exactly is that hearing going to be? Or what is it called?
Pretrial.
Okay, so just tell them, okay.
And Mr. Lee, don't sign out when we get done. I'm gonna go in a breakout room with you so I can send you the discovery, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That concludes the case. Mr. Lee will move you back in with Mr. Batar.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
And Ms. Hadley and Mr. Hadley and Ms. Manarino, that concludes this court's docket. I will continue to call failures to appear. And unless, I don't know why you would stay around. If you want to, you're free to, but other than that, have a great afternoon.
Your Honor, I did have one I wanted to take care of before I go. That Greco had on a sheet to dismiss.
Yes, ma'am.
The last name is Cooper. First name is Monet, M-O-N-Y-E.
24RP02132, City of Romulus versus Monet Cooper.
Angela Manarino on behalf of the people. Your Honor, Ms. Cooper did not appear today. However, we are moving to dismiss the charge.
Case is dismissed. Anything else, ma'am?
No, that's all. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. See you later, Josh.
Thank you.
See you, Angela. Have a good day, Your Honor. Thank you, Mary Ann.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Judge,
That's it, sir.
I guess we're done, right?
We are. If you want to hang around for the bench warrants and failures to appear.
No, I don't
No?
think I'll stick
Okay.
around for that, Judge.
Have a good afternoon, Mr.
Have a
Batur.
good day, Mary Ann. Have a good day, Judge. Take care.
See you, Dan.
This is 22BL00170OM. This is City of Romulus versus Leisha Quorum. The defendant failed to appear this morning, but the court received the request from the prosecutor to dismiss the case. The case is hereby dismissed. These are 24RP01786, A, B, C, and D. These are City of Romulus versus Carmen Jones. These cases were scheduled at 8:50 a.m. It's now 10:38 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the motions to set aside in the civil infractions will be denied. The C and D files, which are the misdemeanor files, will be set for show cause. Two four BL00145, City of Belleville versus Everett Mallow. This case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 9 a.m. It's now 10:40 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, case will be set for show cause. These are 210895OM and 21RP02680. These are both City of Romulus versus Tiana Scott Brown. These cases were scheduled for pretrial at 9 a.m. It's now 10:41 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, these matters will be set for show cause. This is 2403720M. City of Romulus versus Lucretia White. This case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 9:10 a.m. It's now 10:42 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, this matter will be set for show cause. These are 1824060 M and 1736520 M. These are both City of Romulus versus Philip Jones. These cases were scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 9:20 a.m. It's now 10:43 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, these cases being in warrant status, they will stay that way. These are 24BL00154 A and B. These are City of Belleville versus Jacob Lindemeyer. These cases were scheduled for pre-hearing and arraignment pretrial at 9:20 a.m. It's now 10:44 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the A file, the misdemeanor will be set for show cause. The B file will be deemed in default. These are 24W563885 A and B. These are City of Wayne County Sheriffs and City of Romulus versus Deshaun Banks Wright. These cases were scheduled at 9:30 a.m. It's now 10:45 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the A file misdemeanor will be set for show cause. The B file civil infraction will be deemed in default. Two 3RP 036240 M, City of Romulus versus Daniel Bowe. This case was scheduled for pretrial at 9:40 a.m. It's now 10:46 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, matter will be set for show cause. This is 2306940 M, City of Romulus versus Charles Campbell. This case was scheduled for pretrial at 9:40 a.m. It is now 10:47 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, this case being assaultive in nature, defendant having failed to appear previous times before, Defendant was advised from the bench on April 26, 2024 of today's date and time, and he has failed to appear. Bench warrant shall re-enter in this matter. 5,010%. This is 1522760M. This is City of Romulus versus Shayna Lawson. This case was scheduled for pretrial at 9:30 a.m. It is now 10:48 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, matter will be set for show cause. Two four BL 00134B, City of Romulus versus Fernando Lopez. This case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 8:40 a.m. It's now 10:49 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, matter will be set for show cause. This is 2403710D, City of Romulus versus Myron Murphy. This case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 8:40 a.m. It is now 10:49 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, matter will be set for show cause. That concludes this court's docket.